Hi, everybody, and welcome to Two Floaties, One Wobbler. This is a podcast about NC Melee where we discuss in-state results, out-of-state results, and whatever other random topics we have. I'm Hi-Fi, aka Graham, and me and my teammate beat SFAT recently.
I'm Zent, aka Arun, and I've never been a top 2 peach in the town I lived in.
And I'm Tyler, aka Sharks, and I iron my clothes before every national tournament.
Why?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes you're just going to be on stream, and you're an Ice Climbers, and everyone's going to nitpick everything about you. So you don't want to have one wrinkle in that shirt, I swear. People are going to say something about it in that Twitch chat, which is basically torture to read. Don't do that.
Don't you feel like the type of person that would iron their t-shirts is exactly the type of joke they make about Icy's mains?
Yeah, see, I'm a living Icy main joke, whatever. That is true. I can't really live that. That's just the excuse I make. Because sometimes you just want to have a good ironed shirt,
I don't think I've ever ironed anything in my entire life.
Yeah, well, you also wear a puff shirt to every tournament you go to, so
I'm gonna try to mix it up. Might get some new graphic tees. I don't know.
Yeah.
Experimenting with some things.
Like what kind of graphic tees? Because you're not an anime person, so what graphic tees do you get?
I am not an anime person. I don't know. I didn't realize that graphic tees were just entirely anime.
Oh no, mine
characters,
are.
but
So that's just what I assume everyone else's are now.
I'll
I'm
have
actually
to-
sitting in my closet right now, and I just see like 50,000 graphic anime tees. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, I'll have to lab this out. I'll have to lab some different shirt options. Keep it fresh. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about Sway's Samish. Should Tiger switch mains? How bad is Peach versus Icy's really? How good is Safe? And why did Sidward get PR'd? So stay tuned. All right, this is the in-state results segment where we talk about tournaments that happened over the last 2 weeks in North Carolina. I only have the results of tournaments that I knew about, so if there are events that you want us to talk about, please let us know, and we would be happy to do that moving forward. But it's the start of a new PR season, so already
Exciting.
already looking a lot better than last season just in terms of attendance and events going on. We had Premeditated Grime, which, as far as I'm aware, the name is changing this coming week, but it's the former TDML tournament series that is now a bi-weekly, and we had 2 Geeksboro events. So I guess let's just jump right into that and start with Premeditated Grime. Not too many surprising results, but there's a few things that I think are kind of worth noting. Ocean beat Hot Mom in Winners Round 2. Ocean is a Wilmington player who I believe plays Fox and like some Falcon, but he's known for being like pretty technical and kind of an up-and-comer. He's beaten Flair before, I think more than once maybe.
Oh really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's one of those players that people who know him in Wilmington talk about him having like a lot of potential and upside, but he's still kind of raw in terms of not making great decisions all the time, but very good executionally, good punish game, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's kind of the name you always see in bracket, but you don't really pay much attention to.
Right.
But yeah, beating Hot Mom, Jack Adams, and Jack's really improved recently too, so that's not a bad win at all. And then I guess taking a game off CMAC in the next set.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing too because there wasn't like an Ocean who was a different player.
There was he was somewhere in the mountains, I believe, an Ices player, if I remember correctly, named Ocean out in the mountains.
Wasn't he like a non-wobbler, or he would only wobble if he was behind or something?
From what I was told, yes, that's right.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah, very different kind of player.
Yeah.
Playing fast fallers and stuff. But yeah, that's a pretty good win, and you're right that Jack is getting a lot better lately. The only other kind of like major upset from this tournament, if you can call it that, is CMAC took a set off Dash in grand finals. He took the first set coming from losers, and that's his matchup. He's really good against Fox, so that doesn't particularly surprise me. But what I did want to talk about is we have a Marth on the PR finally after I don't know how long. But all the Marths, as far as I'm aware, hate the Ditto. They all complain about it. But CMAC seems to be pretty good at it. He kind of consistently beats Colin. I think he usually beats Flair too.
Yeah, he beat him 2-1 at this tournament. And it's
So
funny,
I'm just
he actually came into this tournament. He told me a couple days after, he was like, "Yeah, like had not practiced for like a month," and he comes in and gets second, like no problem.
yeah. Well, some people say that's when you're playing your best, when you haven't been playing at all whatsoever.
That's a kind of a good point.
So
Oh,
I mean, I think he's probably the best at the Marth Ditto, and as much as Marth mains would like to chalk it up to basically being super high risk RPS, I don't know. I've always liked that matchup. I've always thought it's kind of fun.
It's fun to
Pretty
watch. It's silly though. Everyone, yeah, I've talked to Colin about that matchup a bunch, and I know he just not a big fan of it.
what do you
yeah.
guys think about people who don't like their own characters Ditto? I always thought it was really interesting because it's kind of like you're complaining about your own character, but most of these people will often get mad when others complain about their character.
I feel that it's not like they're complaining about the character that they have to play. It's more about the interactions the two characters cause when they play against each other. Like I'm starting to like the Isis Ditto a lot more, but the Isis Ditto isn't like playing against ice climbers. It's its own beast, and I feel like the Marth Ditto might be kind of the same way.
Yeah, I could see that. Icy's Ditto is the extreme example, obviously,
Yeah.
just because of the nature of the character. But I feel like even in the Marth Ditto, it's just a lot of the stuff that Marth is used to being able to abuse against other characters. It's now an even playing field, and like so easy to get reversaled out of stuff because of, it's another Marth. It's so easy to get edge guarded because Marth has a really linear recovery, and Marth edge guards linear recoveries very well. Um, I don't know. I feel like almost I can't say this about every matchup in the game, obviously, because I haven't played all of them, but I feel like most matchups, it's like once you learn more about it and kind of understand the structure of it, how the neutral works, etc., it becomes more fun. I think a lot of people that don't like certain matchups, it's almost because they sort of refuse to learn it because they just say, well, this is stupid,
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree with
leave it
that
at that.
completely. Like I said, the Ices though scared me for the longest time because I never got to play it. Then I seeked out a bunch of Ices at every out-of-state tournament I went to, and now I'm feel good about it. And I kind of like the matchup now. I don't dread it every time I see it in my pool or something like that.
And you've had to play it a lot more locally in kind of the last few months, right?
Yes, more than ever. I think once Tiger did that reverse 3-0 on me, I was like, okay, I've kind of got to buckle down and learn this, like what's going on in this. So that was kind of the tipping point for that.
So I mean, this was a question that I had for the next tournament, but since we're talking about it, who do you think is the best at the Icy Ditto and NC? And if you think it's you, then who would you say is second?
Yeah, I currently think it is me now. I feel like I've really improved in that matchup recently. Um, After Bananas trashed me for like 3 hours at SmashCon, that man just destroyed me. Taught me a lot of good things about it though, and I feel like ever since then I've gotten a lot better at it. In my opinion, Tiger's easily second. Very, very good at the Ditto, in my opinion. I really enjoy playing him, and it's tough. It scares me every time I see him in bracket. I kind of dread it more than most people.
Okay, wow. Because the reason I bring that up is I don't think did he play Adonis at this tournament?
You know, I there
No, he
has been a lot of ICOs recently. Didn't he? Did yeah? Okay, so at Geeks was it 48?
yeah.
No, he was not that one. I'm sorry. Oh,
So,
that
so that was a
was
so that was Adonis Payton, and
okay.
Adonis beat Payton there, and then in Grands, they traded sets. But I think there were some character switches and stuff in Grands.
So yeah, that's interesting because Adonis. This is a new matchup to him, right? Because when I played him at Moses Kang 3 in January, he went puff against me, and he said he didn't like the Ditto. He's just going to time people out. And then I played him at Everybody Loves Peyton, and he did the Icy Ditto with me for both games. So
Yeah, he had that period of time where he thought, because of net playing Michael 41 billion, he thought
mm.
that Puff timing out Ices was a dominant strategy,
was
and
so
like,
that's what did it. I didn't know it was Michael who did that. I feel like that's become a common effect recently.
yeah, and I mean I can understand it, but he DM'd me some VODs or something of like what Michael was doing, and then also him timing out people, Adonis timing out people with Puff and friendlies, saying
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Look, see, this is just you can't do anything about this." And I do think it's hard for Ices to deal with, but um, I would say it's far from like a dominant strategy in kind of the game theory sense of that, where it's like this is literally the best thing to do and they don't have an option to beat it. But I think he's moved past that now and is just going to play the Ditto.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I have a hard time recommending people use secondaries that unless they're just like they've really, really honed down that secondary, I can almost never recommend it, especially like in the Ditto.
I feel like too at this level of play, it's kind of a short-term solution.
I
Like you're
agree.
sort of banking on like, okay, well, I hope my opponent is just bad at this matchup because, like you said, unless you really train that secondary, it's going to be worse than your main. You're not going to have. You're kind of just hoping specific situations play out, but then if anything else happens, you're kind of just lost.
I think unless
I
the
mean,
matchup is just really terrible, that it's pretty much never a solution. I think someone can train like a Peach for ICs or something, but that's one of the very few examples, in my opinion.
It's
And
also
that's a maybe.
it's also a case of if you switch to this matchup counter pick, like if you play Ices versus Peach and then you switch to say Sheik, the Peach main is going to know the matchup a lot better than you are because they've been playing Peach their whole career, whereas you recently just picked up
Exactly.
this character. So you're also disadvantaged not just in how well you know your character, but know that specific matchup.
And you're prone to getting counterpicked yourself after that. So, or getting double blinded. There's a lot of situations I don't really like with that, but
Right. I mean, I feel like it's different if you really say, like Icy's Peach, for example. If an Icy's player says, okay, I'm never going to play Icy's Peach and I'm going to seriously train up a secondary for this matchup and thinking about it kind of like a long-term thing. And if the matchup's bad enough, I think that's maybe the exception. But pretty much what I've seen at like the NC level, I don't know if that's ever really been the case with anybody.
Going back to Geeks, so Kak and Adonis both traded sets 3-0ing each other in grands.
Yes.
Then the following week on Geeks 49, Adonis 2-0 Tiger, which is pretty impressive. And then, was that the only IC that week? I think that was it. Yeah, it was Adonis beating Tiger 2-0. So that's pretty impressive by Adonis. I guess he's really been working on it.
He has definitely, to some extent, like pushed himself towards the front of the Ices race.
That's good.
Of course, besides you, but
Yeah, I would say so too. Adonis has been getting a lot better lately, and is being talked about as a favorite to win the fifth Arcadian.
That's interesting. Okay.
So we'll
That's a
see
good
how that
point.
develops. But yeah, he's definitely. I mean, I think Kakame is switching to Falco. So he was
For
a
real?
while yeah, he came over to our apartment a couple days ago, playing a lot of Falco. Still kind of raw, but he has a lot of good like it. I think the good thing when people switch characters is when they have the ideas down, but not the tech skill, because you can just grind the tech skill.
That's right, yeah.
or whatever. The hard thing is knowing how to play the character, and he had that so well in both singles and doubles, which was super impressive to me because I love when people are good at doubles. But
That's interesting. Yeah. And I mean, his Falco took a game off of Dash at Peyton, right?
that is true. He did take a game off Alex.
I'm
We'll
kind
see
of
how that plays
I'm
out.
excited about that, to be honest. That sounds sick.
I know. I mean, I'd want a Falco and NC anyway, just because we don't really have too many of them anymore, especially with Beef Tip switching to Sheik. But I hope he sticks with it and doesn't fall into the trap of, oh, well, I can just play Ices if I'm down 1-0 to someone I don't think I should be down to.
That makes
So.
sense. That's a hard trap to fall into. I think there's another Ices Ender who has fallen into that trap really hard. But is he officially going all Fox now, or what is his deal?
I have no idea. I think he did say in Discord that he was going to switch to Fox,
Okay.
but I haven't seen him at a tournament yet do that. So keep an eye on this. But
Okay.
really, without Peyton or possibly Ender, then you have you, Tiger, Adonis, and Ryuta. And I'd say Adonis, while probably not ahead of Tiger today, might be on a better trajectory.
That makes
So,
sense.
I could see him kind of passing Tiger in the next few months if things continue as they are.
And was Tiger mentioning switching as well? I know he had a puff out there for a while.
Yeah, so Tiger has a couple secondaries. He plays Puff.
And Sheik.
and Sheik, and I don't know. I mean, there's talk about whether he should just switch mains because I think he kind of has that same thing where sometimes he really wants to play other characters, then goes down 1-0 in a set or whatever, or just is threatened with losing,
Yeah.
and then defaults back to playing Ice Climbers because that's his best character.
I'd say for Tiger, right? If he wants to switch, I'd say this is like prime time to switch. I
Oh,
mean,
I
he
agree.
already he proved it with Ices, and now if he wants to switch, he had a little worse season than last season. Take the time, develop another character, go for it. I don't see why not at this point.
Yeah, I thought it would be, and also kind of nationally, Icy stock is kind of dropping a little bit. Not that I
Yeah.
think that would necessarily affect his decision, but
No, not in
this-
NC.
this is definitely the time to sell Ices and buy another character.
Yeah, I feel like I want to talk about that in a future episode, but we'll get to that in the future. I don't believe it
Yeah.
at all, but that's just me.
Because the other thing with Tiger is we were talking about Icy's Peach, but Tiger lost to Willie P in losers round 5 of Geeks 48, and then he lost to Marklar in losers round 4.
Yes, that's
Geeks
been the big
49.
thing. The peaches.
He's lost to a lot of Peaches lately, and I know the matchup is really tough, but it feels like that's becoming kind of a block.
Yeah, and I know the pain. In 2015 at the Chapel Thrills, I struggled all the time with Waylon and a couple other peaches that would show up, and it's honestly demoralizing. You feel it's impossible.
Yeah, the way I hear the Icy's mates talk about it, it does sound very kind of fatalistic. Like they feel like there's just nothing they can do. But it's
Yeah, because the matchup, you
crazy
feel like you're
'cause-
doing everything right, and then all of a sudden you're dead, and it's just like, crud, what happened? I don't even know. But yeah,
and it's not that Willie P or Markle are bad players necessarily, but it feels like to me, even though the matchup is bad, the skill disparity between Tiger and these players should mean that maybe they take sets off him, but this is the third Willie P set in like the last few months. And I don't know if he's lost to Marklar recently, but I also don't think they've necessarily played.
oh, I thought he lost to Marklar at Geeks 49, didn't he?
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm referring to.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Before
I'm
that, I
saying,
see,
like,
I
past
see.
results, yeah.
Mm.
So it's kind of becoming a pattern, which I think at the very least, if he played a secondary for that matchup, that might serve him better. But at the same time, I don't know.
That
I mean,
kind of circles around the conversation we just had, right?
Right.
So it's a tough question.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, so we talked about most of the results. I just kind of wanted to mention some of the other upsets. Sway beat Tiger in winners quarters at Geeks 49. Sway historically has played Luigi, but he's one of those people who can play like literally every character. And now he's been playing Samus a lot lately.
That's exciting. We need that in NC so bad.
We absolutely do. I hope he becomes a really good Samus that we can practice the matchup with, because anytime I play a Samus out of state, I have no idea what I am doing.
Tell me about it. I love losing to unranked players in their own state or province at international tournaments. Oh boy.
No.
So
So
do you guys know what Sway's status on being able to attend tournaments more recently is? Because he's always been really good in like taking names at locals, but it feels like there's just periods where we don't see him for months.
I want to say he graduated from NC State this semester, but I don't actually know.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all based off what we know of him.
Okay, because I think I would like to. It would obviously be very good to have an upcoming Samus, but you know, if he suddenly disappears again in 2 months, then it's
Well,
not
he
as
went-
great.
He went to Geeks 2 weeks in a row, and at Geeks 49 he beat Kakame in losers round 4. So 2 very good Icy
Oh,
wins.
interesting. Okay.
And then Pants beating Reggie in winners round 2. Pants is pretty good. I know he doesn't play a ton, but that didn't surprise me that much. I think it was a pretty close set too. And then Chi beating Adonis in losers quarters of Geeks 49. I don't know if that really counts as an upset, like by standings,
It's notable though.
but it is. Yeah, it's very notable because Chi plays Sheik and has struggled against Ices for a while, and I think Adonis has had his number lately. So I wasn't there, but I heard it was a pretty dominant one for Chi too. So
And the thing about Chi in that matchup, because I've played with him a lot, is some games it's like he forgets everything, but when he's on, like when he's playing really well, uh, it's really good to be honest. Like I've had games that we play in friendlies where he just like three stock me. I'm like, oh gosh, what the heck? So he can be very good at that matchup, as long as he just stays consistent at it.
Yeah, Chi's very hot and cold that way. Like when he's on, it just looks pretty flawless sometimes.
Agreed.
And we were actually, Alex and I were talking about it would be funny if like you made voice recordings of yourself giving like simple matchup tips like, oh, remember that if he's in shield, you can beat it by doing this, or you need to drill grab instead of drill shine this character, and you put it on your iPod or whatever, and then during the game you listen to this, and it's just
my gosh.
calm, passive, like simple advice, nothing too complicated, so that you can remember these things. Because I'm sure we've all had sets where we're playing and it's like we completely forget everything that we know about this matchup, and then
Yes.
it's in the middle of a set, so you can't really do anything about it. If you had these recordings.
That's the
Pretty
most
simple.
Chi thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I could see Chi like right now listening to this, writing down notes to start putting in for his iPod recording.
You have a different track for different matchups. So for Fox, you switch to the Fox advice.
Instead of like keeping a little notebook, you just start recording voice memos on your phone.
Oh, just bring a voice
Yeah.
recorder to all your sets. That's it. And then you ask someone what I could do better, then you record them. I'm sure no one would hate that.
Yeah, this might be the new meta. We'll see. We'll see.
Just
if
make
this
sure to do
takes
that to
off.
all top 100 players. Start voice recording them when you ask them what they could do better in the matchup. Very
Yeah,
smart.
They will love that. And then the last I mean, we already had like a lot to talk about over 3 tournaments,
hmm
but to kind of wrap this up, is Safe the uncontested number 3 at this point? Because for the last few seasons, the 3 spot on the PR has changed every single season. We've
So-
had
Do we need to go over the PR real quick to kind of see like who stands where based off them?
yeah, we can do that.
Hold on. Yeah, I just want to go through it real quick because I haven't seen it in a hot minute, to be honest.
Okay. So we have Money Mike at 1, of course, Sharks at
Mhm.
2, Safe at 3, GCS at 4, Zoss at 5, Dash at 6, Hi-Fi at 7, Tylenol at 8, Time Bones at 9, and Sidward at 10.
Okay, yeah. So they both have pretty good. Well, between Safe and GCS, because it'd be what 3 and 4, right?
Right.
Safe attends a lot of geeks, which I don't keep up. Like I look at, but I don't like study those brackets really. I'm saying, okay, Safe went, he won. Safe went, he won. It's kind of expected at this point.
Right.
GCS usually attends when there's a little more. He usually does the monthlies where it's a little bit more competition. But he won Chapel Thrills, and he had an overall good season. I know that last tournament where he lost to Dash really hurt him. I think he lost twice to Dash, if I remember.
Yeah, I think that more helped Dash's resume than hurt GCS. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
even without that tournament, his issue was he lacked a diversity of PR wins.
Okay, because
Part
he
of that's
had
not-
he had me a couple
Right.
times.
And then he had me a couple times, and
Uh-huh.
that was it.
That was it. He didn't
Yes.
even get to play anyone else.
I don't think so. That
Oh,
was part of, I
gosh.
mean, part of this was not his fault because we had a particularly bad season for attendance and
Yeah, this was a
PR
very
versus
weak
PR.
season.
But that was the main, negative on his resume was just
Sure.
not a lot of different wins, even though he got 2 on you, which is really good. But even then, because I want to see Safe and GCS play. They haven't played in a very long time.
That'd be a fun set.
Right, and I think that would kind of answer this question a bit. Not that head-to-head is the sole determinant of that, but they're both very. I would put them at definitely 3-4 right now,
Okay.
and I would give the edge to Safe, sort of because of recency bias. But Safe has also done very well out of state.
Has
He
he?
hasn't- Well, he beat Red at that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I forget what tournament that was.
It was that South Carolina tournament. Yeah, he did really well there. Him and Tylenol both.
Yeah, and Safe is going to CEO at the
Heck
end of
yeah.
this month, so I'm excited to see how that turns out.
I know he struggled a little bit at Tipped Off, but I mean, who's used to the Pikachu matchup, right? What Fox knows that matchup?
especially in NC.
Yeah, especially here.
One thing that's interesting is actually the person who's been under Tyler and, of course, Mike the past few PRs has actually been rotating out really frequently. No one's really managed to keep a hold on that number 3 spot.
Oh,
It was Tylenol last time, right?
Right. It's been like in the last few seasons, it's been Tylenol, it's been Zasa, it's been David. I think it's changed every season.
Is there like a curse? Because it sounds like every time there was a 3, they kind of fell off the next season, right? Like not like terribly bad, but like a little something.
Yeah, a little bit.
Huh. I wonder if Safe can keep it up then.
I would say Safe is probably the best candidate out of, because the thing too is that the past few seasons, the question of who is number 3 has kind of come down to a process of elimination where it's like, well, it can't be this person because they had this loss. It can't be that person. So I guess so-and-so has to be number 3 by default. But this was the first season where it was like, yeah, Safe was a cut above kind of everyone except GCS. And then even there, I thought it was pretty unambiguous that he had that edge.
Yeah, and the last few times I played him, I always underestimate him going into tournament. And like when I play him, like, oh crap, this guy is really good. I forget that. And then he shines me a bunch, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's it. Yeah, he's gotten so good.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that moves forward. I think so. Kaon is moving back.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, I'm so excited. I am so pumped. I hope he gets ahead of me on the PR. I want more competition. I want something to strive for really badly.
I'm pretty confident top 3 is going to be you, Kaon, and Mike in some order, and this will turn into a discussion of who's the uncontested number 4 instead. But for now, yeah, I would say Safe's probably the 3rd best active player.
I hope he goes to a lot, but he's going for his Masters, so I'm sure he'll be busy at Duke. But I feel like he'll be able to make it out to a decent amount of stuff.
Maybe we need to hold Duke bi-weeklies again.
Oh boy.
Was that a thing?
I think it was like many years ago.
Yeah, I never went to that.
It was long before I was here. I've just heard rumors. All right, so that's pretty much the results for past 2 weeks. So for this segment next time, we'll just do whatever tournaments happened since the last episode. And again, if there are any events that you want us to talk about in particular, or any questions you have about anything that happens at a tournament, let us know and we'll be happy to talk about it.
This is the out-of-state results segment where we talk about different tournaments that NC has gone to recently out of state. Most recently, we've had different tournaments such as Pound Underground, GOML, but today we're going to talk about the most recent one we had, which was MomoCon down in Atlanta, Georgia. Half tournament, half con. This is kind of one of those, kind of felt like one of those like half, like real rush, kind of half last second tournaments, but it had a really good time at it. Yeah, so the people who went to this tournament in NC were technically Sneak went, but he mostly was there for DBZ, and me, Sharks, and Time Bones. Me and Time Bones went down together. Last minute, we decided that we didn't love how we did at GOML, so why not? We'll go to MomoCon and see if we can make up for it. And overall, I think we did. I think both of us kind of thought we did pretty average. Like we didn't like lose anyone terrible, but we didn't have any big wins either. Overall, I know Colin was really excited that he beat Wheat, the Arcadian winner from Georgia, a Yoshi player.
Yeah, and that matchup, Marth's lately liked to say that Yoshi just straight up wins it. I don't know if that's true necessarily, but I would agree it's tough.
It looks like it. I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of a guy who just believes what they see, and that matchup looks so difficult for Marth. Especially, obviously, like at the top level, like Amsa. I don't know how the heck anyone's supposed to do it against him. But even at the mid-level, it looks really tough. But not impossible for sure.
And Weed is a good player. So I would say that's a pretty good win for Colin.
Yeah, and I think he's probably going to, from what I've been told, it seems like he should be PR'd in Georgia next season. So basically a PR'd Yoshi win.
PR'd.
Is he?
I think he's 10. right
Dang.
now.
Okay, yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. That was a good win. I actually have that recorded. Unfortunately, I recorded it vertically. I have it unlisted right now, but I actually will have that on my channel. Hopefully, very shortly. By the time you're listening to this, hopefully it should be there to view if y'all like to. So yeah, that was very close. So that's a fun match to watch. If you want to look at that one, I'd recommend it.
So
Um,
how do you feel about the like con tournament thing? Because I know there was some controversy around people complaining about Melee tournaments being attached to cons, and some people obviously really like it because there's stuff to do once you get eliminated or whatever.
mhm.
So
So, other than SmashCon, which I don't really count, this was actually my first real con. I didn't know what to expect. Or it seemed like MomoCon was really good last year. Uh, I came into the tournament with more, at least especially when I got there, that I just wanted to enjoy the con more than anything because the previous 2 weekends I was in Maryland and Toronto. So this was kind of the more like relaxing end of the tour for me.
oh, you went to 3 out-of-state events in
Three
three
in three
weekends.
weeks.
I
Yeah,
didn't even realize that.
this is my first weekend not traveling out of state, so I'm trying to enjoy it while I can. Yeah, so I'm a little bit tired out of Melee for the moment, but I was still like in full Melee mode when I got there. Um, the first problem with the tournament was that there were these 10 a.m. pools, which was just an awful idea. The pools were like 2 hours long, which they did not need to be. They could have been like half the time for the amount of players because it was round robin. I think there was like 5 or 6. I got my matches done in 30 minutes, very easy. There's no need for the 2 hours or whatever, which is why they didn't need a 10 a.m. pool. Well, the problem with the 10 a.m. pool was you get to MomoCon, you get your badge and all that, and to get downstairs, there was a line to get on the escalator at 10 a.m., which took 20 to 25 minutes. It was wrapped around the entire building just to get on an escalator to get to where the games were. So, of course, people that were arriving there at 10 a.m. trying to rush there are now getting to their pools at about 10:30, 10:35. And that was a pretty common thing at the beginning of the day. I heard a lot of Georgia players and some other players complaining about how people were coming late and others got DQ'd while some others didn't. Just a lot of that kind of stuff that you'd expect at these kind of tournaments. But that's why when you go to these out-of-state tournaments, I cannot recommend enough getting there very early and being prepared for the worst scenario. Because at a tournament like this, it's going to happen. But that was really the biggest complaint I heard. After the 10 o'clock pools, everything was pretty normal from that point. Everything ran fine. I mean, the area was kind of small, especially compared to the Smash 4. Smash 4 had like twice the amount of setups, which is fine because it's a con. I expect Smash 4 to be the bigger one there. That's not a problem to me. But for as a con tournament in general, I loved it. It was one of the very first times where after I lost, I was like, that's okay. I'm going to go right back to doing to the dealer's room, get some food, play some card games, whatever. I had a blast. It was by far my favorite tournament in terms of just not results wise, but just being there. Gommel was good for other reasons, but I don't know. MomoCon took the cake just because I'm a dirty weeb, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us what types of activities are on MomoCon that maybe SmashCon or even Gommel wouldn't have that really you enjoyed.
I loved the vendors room so much. I didn't know what to expect getting in there, and it was like, oh my gosh, there is a giant gym, bigger than a gymnasium room, just full of vendors that you can just spend all your hard-earned money on and waste, and it was beautiful. And of course, there's me and Colin, after we both got out, we played a couple board games, and it's just kind of neat to see there's different panels. I went to a piano concert that was so fun. A lot of different panels. You could pretty much do whatever the heck you want, and it's neat to see everyone in cosplay and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun. So overall, the environment is just very happy because a con is more of a celebration, where a tournament is more like devastation, kind of. But that's just the difference is because no one's going to be at a con sad, right? There's no reason for a con, but a tournament, there's only going to be one winner. So
That's a good point.
would you recommend, say, con tournaments over other standard Melee tournaments to newer players? Because one really big issue and critique of these large tournaments is that if you're a new player and you go 0-2 in pools, it's kind of, well, now I'm just here for 2 more days, and it's kind of a depressing experience.
Yeah, that sucks. I've thought about a lot of players like that, like a big house. That's a really good example because then you're stuck at big house for 2 days, and all the setups are full. And what do you do now? Though I think big house has gotten a lot better at that. Um, it depends on how much you like the rest of the environment. Like if someone was there and didn't like anime, they would probably just stick with playing melee at like the shortest of setups. It depends on if you like that stuff. Like, you had to go in knowing that it's not going to be the best run tournament of all time, but you also get the other stuff for it, and vice versa. Where if you go to the ones that are just melee focused, almost always they're a great experience, like GOML, which was one of the best run tournaments I've ever been to.
It was incredibly well run.
Yeah, other than I'd say, getting a little bit off topic, GOML is my third favorite tournament I've ever been to, only next to Big Houses 4 or 5 and 6, and that's only because Big Houses 5 and 6 the hotel was the venue. So you literally walk outside your hotel and there's Smash going on everywhere. It's amazing. I missed that so much. I don't know why they moved away from it, other than they had to.
Yeah, I haven't had that experience out of state yet where the hotel was truly like the venue. I always have to travel back and forth sometimes.
It makes the tournament. That is when I wish that more tournaments. I think Smash and Splash is like that, if I understand it correctly, which is one of the reasons I want to go. But it's also just as far a drive as Big House, which is like 13 and a half hours, and I don't really feel like getting on a plane anytime soon again. It's expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Hotel being the venue also has like this really interesting vibe of you can just walk past people playing Melee in their rooms and like.
Yes, or
Especially
having
for-
PM tournaments in your room, hosting
Yeah,
grand
like
finals.
PM at the big house where every pool was run in a different hotel room, if I understand correctly.
That's how Big House 5 was, where different rooms were different pools, and they were like all across the giant hotel. And then our room got to host grand finals at 3:30 in the morning, which is another story.
Well, hopefully in the coming weeks with, the summer of Smash, there will be more out-of-state stuff to talk about. I know that I'm going to CEO, Tyler is going, Colin is going, Dash and Safe are going to be there. I don't know about anyone else on the PR.
I think
but
Mike's going, right?
Mike is going, yeah. So we'll have stuff to talk about with that for sure. And then SmashCon in August. Is there anything in July that any of us would be
I
at?
don't think there's anything in July. But actually, before we wrap this segment up, I almost forgot to talk about how I did, I guess. I'll be a little bit selfish and talk about how the tournament went for me, just because I think results are important. Pools were fine until I played Ian, who had lost to way in the past that tipped off like 11 in 2014, I think, 2015. Wasn't too worried, didn't even wobble the first game, and then he made a 2-stock comeback on me in the first game and beat me, and I was like, crud, okay, now I'm nervous. And then the next 2 games were very close, but I clutched them out. I remember game 3 was, I think he was winning almost the entire time until the last stock. So that wasn't a very good start for me, and it kind of reminded me how I felt at GOML. But it was like, whatever, okay, that was the end of the pool, I'm in winners. Go on to fight Green Mario, and did extremely well against him. I actually think that was the best I played all day. I 2-0'd him, not a problem. As much as I worry about the Mario Brothers, that I don't like that matchup, but felt fine. Then I played Cole Ball on stream, and most of y'all saw how that went. Not impossible feeling, but he's just so good at that matchup. It's crazy. I've got to improve a lot to beat that. Then in losers is the really interesting set. I played Flamin' Roy again for the 3rd time, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've beaten him. I'm 2-0 on Flamin' Roy. And then we played. First game, he beat me. I didn't like the way I was playing. I was playing a little bit nervous, playing a little shaky, like I couldn't move that much. I was like, okay, I got to calm down, play better. Game 2, I won pretty well. I think I 2-stocked him. I wobbled him a bunch. He was having a hard time not getting wobbled, I realized. Third game, I grab him, wobble him, he dies. And then I grab him again, start wobbling him. And he was doing the thing where he presses start, and so he unpresses it and I kill him, right? Well, I
Right.
get the second grab on him, and I have 4 stocks, and now he's about to lose his second stock, and he pauses, and out of habit, he does LRA start when he paused. So the
Oh.
game just ended, and we're both like kind of shell-shocked for a second, and I'm like, crud, I don't know what to do. And he was like apologizing profusely, but you could tell like he kind of wanted to continue the set, and honestly, I should have just been like, no, that's it. But I kept thinking in my head, this dude paid $75 to be at a con to play this, and he's going to lose to that. Like, that's so lame. But I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, because if I lose this, it's going to be terrible. Colin was really, like, he was behind me literally saying, take it, take it, take it.
Yeah.
But I turned to Warren, and I was like, if you start with 2 stocks, and I start with 4, we'll continue this. So I started at 4 stocks, no percent, him at 2 stocks, no percent. It's funny because I actually got the wobble on him at like 0% the next stock, and it almost looked like I was about to JV for him. But it ended up being a 3 stock, and that was how it ended. And Colin was like, well, at least it ended well. It's like, yeah, me too. So I don't think I was playing perfect, but I was playing okay at that point.
Before you talk about your next set, I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Okay.
Because this particularly tilts me. So I know that people have this because he did that like out of muscle memory, right? The
Yes.
LRA start thing. So when I play friendlies with people and they LRA start out of every single game, like it tilts me in particular because I don't know what it is. It just feels annoying. Like
At
it
the
takes
at
2
the
more
end of it
seconds.
specifically, or what part of the match?
Well, that's the thing is that usually it's at the end right before they die, but there have been numerous instances where it's like, oh, that wasn't actually going to kill you, or like they air dodge off stage and oh, Randall was there, he would have saved you.
Okay.
Or they do it when they have stocks left because they're just so used to pushing the buttons, and I'll be like, you had 2 stocks left, why did you quit out?
I
And
am
like,
actually sometimes guilty of doing that, but I try not to as much. But I am guilty of that.
but in friendlies, that's one thing. I would even say in locals, it's one thing if you're like, yeah, I want to pause to get out of wobbles, because I know that GCS does that with you sometimes.
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
that's
them do that.
fine.
But in a like bigger out of state tournament, I just feel like pause should always be off.
Yeah,
there's just no
I
reason it should
agree.
be on.
It did throw me for a loop when he first started doing it, but I'm one of the very few ICs that like when that happens, because I hate wobbling. I mean, I don't hate wobbling. I don't like the act of wobbling. It's boring, and I want to go ahead and get to the next stock because it's already done.
Sure.
So if they pause, that's one step closer to neutral again. So I don't mind it, but after that situation, I think I'm gonna mind it.
Yeah. Because it puts you in a really bad situation.
It does.
Because the set's no longer legitimate. So you either
Mhm.
take a fraudulent win that everyone will know is fraudulent, including you, or you give your opponent another chance. And then if you lose that way in game 3, I mean, that feels worse, really.
yeah.
Because then you're like, I could have won, and I literally declined winning. So
Mhm.
the only good outcome for you is to say, okay, we'll keep playing, and then you make sure that you win, which...
You don't always have control over. And also, like, you're
Yeah.
playing, you might be really out of it because something like this just happened. You might play worse.
That's right. I mean, that affects way more than the game. In the perfect world, the TO says, hey, that's the game. But at a con tournament, I mean, there's not going to be a TO around a random setup in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just how it was. In the future, I'm going to have to say sorry. I need to take this just because of how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would take that 100% of the
I
time.
know. I know everyone would, but it was so hard not to. It was so hard to. It's just like in the moment kind of a thing. It's like I was literally like, "Oh my gosh,
it's
what
hard to
I'll
do because you feel bad. Like you said, dude paid $75 to come to this tournament, and to go out like that is
Yeah.
just.
Also,
one
even
wants
if you don't feel bad, other people are going to make you feel bad for it. Like, almost certainly.
It's true.
It's, it's part of the whole gentleman's code to just keep playing out in that situation, even though really a TO should be coming over there to say, no, you win.
Well, actually, I take back what I said earlier. In a perfect world, the opponent says, "My bad, you win," which is what he should have done. But I'm not going to give him
That's
any
true.
flack for that.
right. So, pause off.
Yeah.
Pause should always be off.
Yeah. Next set was against Arcune, who I've heard a couple things about that he's a net play rager. He was really good at the matchup. He beat me 3-2. First game, he like 3-stocked me. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this
Was
dude?
he's super aggressive and swingy, right?
He is a little swingy, but he's in the air so much that
Mhm.
it was hard to get close to him more than most Smars I've played. Colin said he had a little bit of Alec in him, and I agree with that, where Alec can make it super tough for me to get in. And that's how he played, where sometimes I just could not grab him and could not hit him. And Mars' sword is very long. And that's pretty much the only way I can describe the set. His F smashes were very on point. I feel like I died very early every stock. And he really just outplayed me. I don't really have much more to say than that. I wish he hadn't. I wish I didn't have to say that, but I mean, he just outplayed me. That's how it was. So it made me feel better. I think someone said he had beaten Drunk Sloth a little bit before that, which made me feel a little bit better, but I still don't like losing to people I don't know very well. But that's Melee.
He's definitely a decent player, but he is the Tizzle fix of Florida.
I've heard.
I mean,
Oh, that makes me sad to hear.
we were all quite upset,
I
but
know.
at the same time, if you honestly felt like you just got outplayed, I feel like that makes it easier to swallow in some sense.
It was, which is why I was okay pretty much instantly after, compared to like the Samus set I had at Gommel. I felt like I was like, okay, I kind of deserve to lose this one. He just outplayed me for the most part. The wins I got were kind of dumb. Like he recovered bad and I gimped him for it, things like that. Like the last second wins on him, whereas the wins he got on me were very strong every time. So I was like, yeah, you kind of got that. Now I think if I've been playing perfect, like like my best, I should beat him. But playing your best out of state tournaments is extremely difficult. For those
Very
people
tough.
that have not in NC gone out of state, it is an experience. It is very tough to play on point. It is.
And I think a lot of people in NC in particular who haven't gone out of state completely underestimate what a wide open national meta is really like, because they're
Mhm.
so used to NC players and stuff. And something that gets thrown around a lot in NC is like, oh, Falco's a bad character. And it's like, if you go out of state and play some good Falcos, you might change your opinion on that.
Played a Canadian Saskatchewan Falco who was pretty much kicking my butt for most of the part when we were playing, and I was like, "You live in the middle of nowhere, and you're killing me with Falco. What is this character? He is so good. It is so easy to forget that I'm like, oh, he has all these options. I never see any of this in North Carolina. I'm so used to Fox, and I realized actually during when I was playing him that I play Falco like I do Fox, and I'm gonna lose forever if I keep doing that. So.
Yeah, it seems completely different.
But yeah, I hope more of NC can go out of state and really get to experience that. It is such a thrill. It's also demoralizing, but it's
you
a
learn
thrill.
so much.
Oh,
There's so many
yes.
opportunities to just pick up small and large things that you can incorporate into your gameplay when you come back home.
As long as you play your cards right. I think some people think it's a little bit easier than it is. Sometimes it's easy to get stuck with like the crap players and get nothing from it. But as long as you kind of pick your spots, when to play friendlies and things like that, you'll be good.
I'm lately a big fan of taking frequent breaks so that if I'm on a bad setup, I can just say I'm resting my hands.
Yeah,
And then get
and
off
you can just
and-
say that anytime. So when you're playing a good player, yeah, that doesn't happen.
Right, yeah. I'll sit at that setup for...
I've still never played friendlies with a top 100 player before. One day I'll get that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, never. Yeah, I don't have very good luck when it comes to friendlies. I'm very socially awkward, and I have a hard time asking people anything. So my terrible strat is I sit down on a setup and wait for someone to join me, and it's usually pretty bad. But sometimes you get some real good ones out of it too. You meet some cool people. You can make fans that way too, which is
You can
cool.
make fans.
Yeah, that's literally happened multiple times.
Is there a Sharks fan club? Can I join?
Yeah, Darks for Sharks, right?
Darks for Sharks.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's crazy how people will be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of you," and I'm like, "How?
Yeah.
How is that possible?" And they're like, "Oh well, saw you on stream against, or you beat so and so in doubles," and it's like, "All right, yeah, I am that guy."
Yeah, I had one guy. He told me he didn't recognize me without my glasses. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I've worn those like 4 times. But I guess that's how it goes. People see one set and that's what they remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any other questions about MomoCon or any out-of-state tournaments coming up?
I don't think so. I guess we're all
Okay.
kind of just looking forward to CEO at the end of the month.
Same here. Okay, well, we'll get on to the next segment then.
All right, so in this segment, we're going to talk about the new NCPR. Obviously, we won't do this every episode, but we recently had a new PR, and that always generates a lot of good discussion. So, in case anyone has not seen it yet, number 1, we have Money Mike, who has been number 1 since PPMD and Cam stopped playing in NC, basically. So, no surprise there. Sharks at number 2 has also kind of maintained that spot. Basically about the same time period since Cam...
Since Cam left, I'd say, around about a year and a half now.
Number 3, we have Safe. We were talking about how this spot has rotated a lot season to season. We've had Tylenol at 3, David at 3, Zasa at 3, Stingers at 3. So Safe has it this season. We'll see how that goes. GCS at 4. Very strong results. Not quite Safe level, but definitely kind of a cut above everybody else. Zasa at 5. He's sort of been up and down over the last few seasons, but always a PR candidate, always a really strong threat out of state. Dash at 6. This is the highest Dash has ever been ranked. He's been climbing since, I think he got on at 13, and then went to 10, and now went to 6, so pretty consistent improvement. Playing
And
a
it's
little bit.
kind of his finale placing, right?
Yes, Alex is going to be moving to Charleston in the next month or two, and he claims that he is retiring because he does not want to be a part of South Carolina Melee.
Ooh,
Which-
boy.
I don't blame him for that, but we all know how retiring goes in this community. People say,
How-
I'm retiring, and then they enter a tournament the next week.
How far is Charleston from here?
I don't know.
It's a 3-hour drive to Charlotte is the nearest North Carolina city.
Well, Charleston's by, like, the beach, right? I'm pretty sure you could...
Oh, I'm thinking of Columbia, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. We could map it or something, but I want to say like about 4 or 5 hours. Because Smash Bob came to TDML once, and I believe he drove 5 hours.
Goodness. Yeah, I was going to say he could pull what the Smash 4 top player does in North Carolina. Don Quavius, I don't know if he's currently ranked number 1. He definitely lives in South Carolina. But he is like,
Wow.
yeah, I don't like their scene that much. I'm just going to be considered North Carolina since he's like near the border, so he can technically do that.
Yeah,
But that's what he does.
that's pretty funny. So, Dash at 6. Hi-Fi at 7. I was 7 last season. No real big changes there. Tylenol at 8. So, Tylenol didn't have a great season, but he was ranked basically on the strength of his legacy. We know that he's a top 10 player. He's performed at a high level. And honestly, his results this past season weren't, I wouldn't say they were bad. They were just kind of mediocre, but only 2 unranked losses and really not to terrible players, honestly. So we kept him on partially because the quality of competition was sort of weak this season, but also because the alternative is that Tylenol does not count as a PR win and counts as an unranked loss, which I think most people would agree would be kind of absurd.
And
So-
he had, I guess I would call his more of a defensive season, right? Like, he didn't go out and beat a ton of people, but like he didn't really lose much either. He had just like very normal placings almost the entire tournament.
Right,
But
very
this
I
season-
mean, more was expected of him because he was 3 on the PR, but yeah, for any kind of competitor, they would be pretty happy with how his results shaped up. So, still thinking he's going to be as competitive as he has been. Just kind of a weird season in terms of activity and results.
If I don't, can I go on a tangent here, or do we want to finish up the PR list real quick?
I'll just finish up. The
Okay,
list
that's
real quick.
fine. I'll go back to him later.
9 and 10, we have newly PR'd Time Bones at number 9, and at 10 we have Sidward. So 2 more players that are not Arcadian eligible that were kind of top 8 contenders up to this point. So the Arcadians are probably pretty happy about that. And no HMs this season.
Which I'm totally fine with. Do we have anyone that was even close to HM?
Not really. I mean, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about HMs in general in terms of when to have them, when not to have them. But we struggled to get 10 good names on this list as it was.
Yeah.
So there probably was not going to be anyone else that had a season worth mentioning.
I remember before the PR coming out, you were talking to me about you thought there was going to be a lot of drama in the Facebook post when it came out because of
Surprisingly, none really.
exactly. I think most people kind of looked at it and said, "Yeah, I see where they're coming from there." One of Time Bone's favorite phrases, "the human element," played a really big part in this panel here.
Yes, it did. It really did.
So what do you think what's like the role of the panel in that case then, like especially compared to something like GAR PR and things like that? What is really the role of the panel?
So this is a good question because I think this is something that implicitly people kind of think they understand, but it's never really broken down as to what the panel's job is versus something like GAR. GAR PR is great. It's an algorithmic, unbiased, statistical way to rank players. It's far from perfect. It has its flaws. Shouldn't take it as gospel, but it's a very useful tool. The thing is that GAR is governed by strict procedural rules about, it doesn't make exceptions, right? The point of a PR panel is to contrast that by being subjective, by getting human beings together and holistically evaluating a season of data and then determining how to rank players based on that. There's been, I wouldn't say a lot, but definitely players in the scene who have been kind of vocal about, we need more strict, rules for the panel, if that makes sense. Like, people want a strict number of entrants that will make a tournament count. They want strict requirements for attendance. They want strict requirements for if you do X, Y, and Z, then you will be guaranteed a PR spot. And it's not like these are necessarily unreasonable requirements, but I think these would ultimately not be good because the panel is supposed to be able to look at situations and make the exceptions based on context. Like, if we were bound to sort of a constitution that we had to strictly follow, it's almost like there's no point in having a panel because then the PR just makes itself based on those rules. It's like procedurally generated then. But I think it's our job as a panel to say, okay, Tylenol didn't get any PR wins this season, but he's still a good player, so we're still going to PR him. Sidward had a lot of bad losses this season. And if we had some rule about, well, you can't have more than an average of 1.5 unranked losses per tournament, then he might not qualify. But that, in that case, we might end up having like a 5-man PR some seasons, which I think people generally would not want. So the job of the panel is to make those calls, those subjective decisions that lead to, okay, this season, these were the 10 people that had the best season. Doesn't necessarily mean these are the 10 best players in NC right now, today, on average. But just the way the data shook out, these were the 10 best resumes holistically evaluated.
I like the way you look at that. And earlier in that, you said something about like having a 5-man PR panel. Generally most PRs do 10. Sometimes we do 15 if we have a really good season with good players, which it might be a little bit of time till we get back to that again. I think we're kind of in a transition phase. In NC, but with that, would we ever consider having something between like a 5 and a 10-man PR? Like, would we ever consider having a 7, 8, or 9-man PR? Like, let's say Sid hadn't been there and there wasn't really one else past Time Bones. Would that ever be possible? Would you consider that?
So obviously I can't speak for the entire panel, but for me personally, I would have no problem PRing fewer people. But some of the issues that come along with that are, one, she declared last season that the PR would always be a minimum of 10, which, yes, we could change that moving forward. But like for this particular season, we kind of boxed ourselves in because he said that. And it's like, we could have gone back on that, but it's not really a great look to just kind of move the goalposts like that. I do like the idea of you PR however many people deserve to PR in a season. But that whatever that like metric is kind of changes a lot, depending on results, depending on activity.
Yeah, because the PR isn't like you have to do this to make the PR. We've always just been like the best X amount of people.
Right. And I'm generally in favor of longer PRs. Obviously, there's a point where it sort of dilutes results to the point where PR wins become meaningless. If you go down, like if NC had a 20-person PR, that'd be terrible. Oh
gosh, yeah. Even a 15 PR would have been absurd this season. I mean, this was definitely our weakest season in a long time. I mean, to be flat out, it was.
I mean that
agree. to like be mean to anyone. We are actually just in a transition phase with locals, with players. It's just kind of been a weird little time for NC Melee, but I think it's gonna get a lot higher again. It's gonna get a lot better.
I think the tournament situation right now is a good sign that there's a consistent weekly and bi-weekly in kind of the center of North Carolina, and that there's at least talk of monthly series, and there's ideas being floated around about bigger events and stuff. Because part of the reason that the results were so bad was just a lack of quality events, and then of course a lack of PR players attending those events. But if we let's say we had let's say we did a 7-man PR this season, because you can argue that okay, Sid had a lot of bad losses. Time Bones, he didn't have a ton of bad losses, but it was kind of in the territory that in previous seasons he probably would not have been PR'd, or it would have been like a very fringe case.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tylenol didn't have any PR wins, and you could just, I mean, again, if we had strict rules and said, well, if you have no PR wins, we won't PR you, then that would have boxed us into saying no Tylenol. If we have a 7-man PR, then that makes PR wins scarce.
Yeah.
And it kind of turns the meta into the mid-level slaughtering each other.
Yeah, which is pretty funny, to be honest, but no.
Yeah, it's amusing, but I don't necessarily know that that's
I agree.
what you want.
I think there needs to people in there. You need to have PR wins in reach for every mid-level player. Every mid-level player needs to have a very achievable PR win to them. I think. I think that's okay in my opinion. I might be wrong in that in the future, but I kind of like looking at it that way for now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's good unless it's the case that there really is a sharp drop-off in skill between PR and then right below that, where it's the PR is going to stay the same but maybe shift around, which I don't think is the case right now at all for NC. But I think you need to have, it has to be achievable targets, right? Because that's a lot of the reason that mid-level players go to tournaments. They want chances at PR wins, so that boosts attendance. That boosts general competitiveness. So I think I would say that I would be okay with shorter PRs in specific circumstances, but I think even this season where it was kind of hard to fill 10 slots, it's probably a better look if we kind of always just have at least 10.
I think it's a lot easier to go more than less. I don't think it'd be a bad look to have 11 or 12, because that really shows that those people deserved it. If that ever needs to happen in the future. Kind of like how I think Georgia needed to do it on their PR, but that's a different story.
Right. I think the arbitrarily extending to multiples of 5 is kind of silly. I would be fine with PRing 12 people, and I think that fall 2017 when we had 15 on, I think in hindsight we probably should have done 13. I was not on the panel at that point, so I'm not exactly sure what the discussion was, but
that was with Karn at 14, right? And then someone else, what was it, Sprinkles or something like that? I forget.
Sprinkles was 14 and Reggie was 15.
Okay. Karn.
And a lot of those last 2 spots were kind of well, we need to have 15 if we don't do 10.
Okay.
Which I guess I would say this. You should have an established minimum, but then beyond that, it shouldn't be restricted to any kind of multiples of 5 or whatever. You can go as far past the minimum as you need or as appropriate, but having a hard minimum, I think, is probably a good thing ultimately in terms of a rule that we would stick to.
Yeah, and I like that. That makes complete sense to me.
I think going back to the sparsity, the idea of sparsity of PR wins, if we cut the PR down past 10, another sort of issue, which maybe this wasn't an issue before, is that a lot of the PR doesn't go to tournaments that regularly. And you can imagine cutting down to 6 or 7 people on the PR, that there might just be only 2 or 3 people who are even regular opportunities.
Oh yeah,
even ignoring the fact that they're outside the range of mid-level PR.
Yeah, I mean, last season, really the PR last season was 11 people, because Slip asked to be off because he was leaving midway through the season, but he did count as a PR win and a PR loss. So we basically had 11 PR players, and attendance was not great, and there weren't a lot of opportunities for people to get sets against PR players. So I mean, I completely agree with that. It just kind of makes it well, all right, if Mike and Zasa and Safe are the only ones showing up to tournaments, we're not going to beat Mike. So there's 2 people you could get PR wins off of, and they're really good, and it's really hard. So you get seasons where it's like, yeah, no one has any PR wins. So then you kind of just have to shift down to wins on the next best players as the next metric, which you would have done anyway if you would just PR'd those people.
Even if you do go to the tournament that Safe and Zasa show up to, there's no guarantee you'll get to play either of them, even if you're like near the top of the seeding.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, they might lose to like an out-of-state Peach who's just there for a week, hasn't played Melee in a while, is just kind of doing his thing, just comes in and ends their bracket runs before anyone else can get their hands on them. You never know.
And if I can segue over to the next topic, I kind of want to speak about the players in general, starting with Sid. So extreme congratulations to Sid. I know how good it feels to be PR. That is an awesome feeling. But now that he's number 10, he definitely has the biggest target on his back. So people are going to be looking to try to get some wins off of him. So what does that mean for North Carolina? Should do you think people will be more gung-ho seeing people like Time Bones and Sid, who were a little bit more vulnerable than some of the more other PRs? Like, no offense at all, but that's just kind of how it is right now. They're the two highest. You think people will be gunning for them? Think there'll be more attendance based off of that, or what do you think?
People will definitely be gunning for them. I don't know if there will be more attendance necessarily, but the way I've kind of seen it in NC at least is like getting PR'd is not the thing that you do to prove yourself. It's what happens the season after you get PR'd.
Huh, that's interesting.
Because now you're constantly playing under pressure of, well, I'm a PR win and people are going to be trying against me and I can't drop sets to unranked. Like, there's more to lose, I guess. There's more to defend.
There is.
And I think that if you can successfully deal with that and kind of defend your spot, that's when you sort of prove that you're, like a top whatever player in the state. Because I think getting PR'd a lot of the times can kind of come down to factors outside of your control around, well, other people did bad, or there wasn't a lot of data this season, or you got really good brackets and matchups you wanted, whatever. You didn't attend very much, but the things you attended you did well enough at that you don't have like bad results really. But it's when you're a PR player that I think you really have to show what you're made of.
Yeah, which is funny because Colin Time Bones, after the most recent tournament, Geeks 49, I think it was a sigh of relief for him that he didn't get just trashed or anything. He got third, taking a set off of Dash, number 6 in the PR. So very solid showing for him after his first tournament since being PR'd. I know that can sometimes go down in flames, so that's a pretty good showing for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he traded sets with Dash, that's pretty good, and then lost to Safe, I guess, in winners finals.
Yeah, lost to 3 and 6, not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad.
I think in terms of the sort of idea of gunning for a PR win off the bottom, I guess whoever's bottom on the PR, one of the things Gray mentioned earlier is that sort of having a diversity of wins is an important requirement. You can't just make it onto the PR by farming whoever number 10 is on the PR.
Sure.
So while I think, obviously people are going to really value beating Sid and Colin more now because they are PR players, I feel like it's kind of foolish. I mean, maybe some people will have this mentality regardless, but it's kind of foolish to, want to hunt for those wins if you're not capable of reaching also for everyone else on the PR.
Sure, but it's like, think about this. Like, let's say you play a top 100 player and you beat them, right? Like, you're still probably not going to make top 100, but beating a top 100 player feels really, really good. And it's the same way for some of like our lower mid-level to beat a PR player. Like, getting that win is a huge deal for them. That's a big motivator.
Yeah, there are a lot of players that don't have any lifetime PR wins that you'd be kind of surprised about.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean it's a stepping stone, right? Like, they might beat Sid and they have too many unranked losses to be PR'd this season anyway, but it's still like okay, I got a PR win, and then that builds
an
into
achievement.
more PR wins, right? So
it's definitely a confidence booster. It can be a big stepping stone. Just like I said, being a top 100 player, that gives you that like boost, like, oh, I can do this, and kind of keep you going. So,
and my hard read on Sid too is that now that he is PR'd, he's maybe going to be a bit more selective about what he enters, because part of the reason he had so many unranked losses last season was he went to literally every single TDML, multiple geeks. He had by far the best attendance out of maybe not even just PR candidates, but like literally everyone. he went to so many tournaments. So I think now that he's PR'd, he might rein that in a little bit, or at least be a little more conscientious of, okay, I'm not necessarily going to spam events where I know that on this day I might not be playing great and would just kind of lose to whoever I end up playing.
Yeah, but he goes to so much. He's gone to so much for years. I wouldn't be surprised if he still showed up to everything. Like, I don't see him missing a PMG or whatever it's called, the Monday biweeklies, because he's pretty close to there, right? From what I understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, he'll still probably go to a few Geeks Bros. But I guess going down the PR list, I don't know if we have much to say about Time Bones. He just had a really solid season. He's just improved overall. Like I think he got over that hump that a lot of players have a tough time going through. When I watch him play now, I feel a lot more confident than I did in the past. I'm like, yeah, he definitely should win this and will win this kind of a thing more than like I think he's going to lose. And that's just that big hurdle to get through. So I don't know if there's much other to say about him other than he's just flat out improved.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been very kind of gradual and built up, which I think is the best kind of improvement, honestly. Like, meteoric rises are cool to see, but it's usually like someone gets really good at certain things very fast, and then there's holes that they have to patch up later.
Yeah.
But I think Colin's improvement has been very holistic, and like all aspects of his game have gotten better. And it's taken more time, but you know, now he's made it, and he's on a good upward trajectory, I think.
In some ways, like, if someone told you a year ago Colin was going to be PR now, it really wouldn't be at all a crazy thing to say. I think a lot of people kind of saw this coming at some point.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess we'll keep going down. Tylenol. So we all know how good Tylenol can be. He's a very solid player. He was 3 the previous season. Had sets beaten off of MacD and a couple others. Very strong player. So I'm going to ask a question here. If Dash was anyone else, or excuse me, if Tylenol was anyone else, like a non-PR player like Sidward, would he have gotten PR'd with his record?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
It was the one thing he had going for him was legacy.
Okay.
Which we do try to take into account, and a lot of people don't like the legacy concept. They think it's dumb that a person is rewarded right now for past efforts, you know?
I think you got to be realistic about it, though. A PR isn't like, yeah. I think it's necessary.
I will say he did greatly benefit from a lack of other good contenders, because if this was like, let's say, last season and he had the results he did, he definitely would not have made it, because Dash was 10 last season and Dash had results that would probably be, you know, like 7 on this PR,
Yeah.
maybe 8. So he got kind of lucky in that respect, but at the same time, it's like the alternative is that he's an unranked loss and not a PR win, and that just sounds even more absurd, I think, than keeping him on the PR, even though he didn't perform as well as we might have hoped.
Sure.
There's also like the statistical idea of you have some prior information on him, and you know, if someone had the season that he had without having this prior information, then there's no reason to believe that they should be PR'd. But because we have all this information on his history before, sort of you're doing sort of an estimation process where you're trying to estimate how good a player he is. You might say, well, he had a not great season, but that might just be bad luck. That might just be sort of
short-term variance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, short-term
Which I
variance,
expect
a
it to
poor
be.
representative of the data.
I think he'll come back. It might not be this season, but I think he'll come back strong pretty soon. I'm not worried about Tylenol at all. He'll be back.
Yeah, I think the panel felt the same way, which was why we were all pretty confident in putting him at 8. I think because I would say that it's hard to rank someone entirely on legacy, because I think in the past there have been legacy PR spots that haven't been deserved whatsoever. But it also helped that he didn't really have that bad of a season. It was just kind of mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get a bunch of bad losses, and he performed generally well in the tournaments he went to, and he was, you know, like, I think did he go game 5 with you this season?
He did. He went
Tyler?
basically last hit against me at Peyton. It was very, very, very close.
He had like good close sets against other people on the PR, so and And again, like what I was saying about it's the panel's job to make subjective decisions. This is a perfect example of that, I think. So
Yeah, and keep going down the list here. Do we want to go one by one, or do we? Or is like because those, in my opinion, were the three most interesting.
Mhm.
Do you have any others you want to talk about, or do you want to go to the list and just speak about a couple things?
I
Or
guess we could just go one by one, and if there's
okay,
no
we'll go
they
next
move
to
on.
you then. I think you're one of the most consistent players in NC at this point, in a very positive way. I don't mean that in any negativity. Like I know you're not going to lose to certain people, and I know you're always going to put up a fight against others. What do you think about your season, and what do you think about things to come?
I had, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a weird season, but it was very like gatekeeperish because I had no losses to anyone below me. On like everyone that I lost to last season is now PR'd above me.
That's funny.
But the thing is I didn't beat any of those people.
Hmm.
So it was the worst case scenario of like I beat literally everyone below me that I played, lost to everyone above me, and I had close sets both ways. There were people below me that I probably could have easily lost to in very close sets, and there were people above me that it was, really
Like
down the
ours
wire.
every time.
Our sets. I went to Game 5 with Zasa at Epoch. That was a really good set. I should have taken a set off GCS, but I missed up till rest last stock and then lost Game 3.
Hmm.
So it was just like
Yeah.
a lot of things like that. Moving forward, I mean, Gommel kind of helped me like sort of realign what my goals and my mentality and stuff are. Mentality is kind of one of the bigger things for me right now. Just trying to figure out the mindset that I have to be in to compete well. Because I think a lot of this past season, I sort of just struggled with like playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And that sort of reflects in my results. Like, okay, well, I didn't lose to these people below me, but I also didn't beat these people above me. So, kind of a strange season in a lot of respects, but I'm pretty optimistic about this summer.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I know that you're gonna have one of those really strong rises pretty soon. I have a lot of faith in you as a player, to be honest, more than almost anyone else in NC.
Thank
Because
you.
your work ethic is really good, and you're smart about the game too. So,
I hope so.
oh, you are. Trust me. Okay. Next person we have is a Dash, right? The
Yeah,
farewell.
Dash had a great season, I thought.
Mhm.
Because the thing is the one thing keeping him from 5 was like bad losses or whatever. But you have to take into it, and it doesn't, it's not like a legitimate John or whatever. Like he did lose the sets, but he was smashed, bruised
Yeah.
when he lost to Sid. Like he
Oh,
said, he got triple 3-stocked. I think is what he said.
Lord, that's funny.
He's like, I've never lost to someone that badly before in my entire life. And I was like, yeah, it's because you could barely stand up on your own at that point.
That's funny.
So, not a legitimate John again, but that kind of, if you take away that as like an outlier, he had a very good diversity of PR wins, had very close sets against the people that he lost to. He had a really close set with you at Epoch.
Yeah, that was
Um,
that was the story of the PR this
Yeah.
season. I had a close set with everybody, I think.
So I think he really earned that 6th spot, and it could have very easily been 5. It was pretty close between him and Zasa. So yeah, peak Dash is impressive. I think
Yeah.
he's always had very high highs, and then what's kind of held him back has been sort of these random unranked losses. But season to season, they've gotten fewer and fewer, and he's gotten more and more consistent.
Hmm.
And he's doing this too while like playing Falco sometimes, which is kind of crazy. I mean, he'll play Falco and friendlies a ton, and he just loves playing other characters and stuff, and he's not afraid to bust it out in tournament, which, I mean, I would be terrified of that. Even if I was playing a
Yeah.
lot of a secondary and friendlies, if I was, in a set, I would never think like, maybe I should play Falcon here or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
I'm right there with you. Okay,
Yeah.
on the next one, who is at 5?
Zasa.
Zasa. Ah, yes.
There
I
wasn't
didn't see much of his season, to be honest.
there wasn't really too much to say. He got pretty good wins, and his only unranked loss was Beef Tip,
Ah,
who
yes. Impressive
recently
win.
switched to Sheik. Yeah, I mean that was a really good win for Beef Tip, and Beef Tip is really good at Sheik Puff. When he switched to the character, because I play him a lot, he was just right off the bat like very good at that matchup.
Hmm.
So I wasn't really that surprised that he beat Zasa, but other than that, Zasa's also an extremely consistent player. I feel
Yeah.
just kind of showed up, did what he needed to do. Lost to the Foxes a bit, and did he? I think he played you at Thrills.
In a very strange set, extremely weird.
Yeah. So, I kind of feel like Zoss is about, like he could easily take sets off anyone above him, but he has I'd say the least consistency of the top 5 right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's, in every sense of the word, an explosive player.
Yes.
Yeah, he can beat anybody on that PR, to be fair.
Yeah.
Which isn't something that everyone on the top 5 can do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Before we got GCS, I don't really know what to say about GCS.
He's
this
just
season.
a good player. He didn't go, like you say, he didn't go to much. We said that in the other segment. But when he did, he showed up pretty well almost every time. He got did he get any lower than top 3 ever?
I don't think so, because he had no unranked losses.
Yeah.
So he was taking names for the most part, kind of only losing to people above him. I mean, I guess he mostly just lost to Mike and you, and then those 2 dash sets at the very end.
Yeah, that's really good. So
that was solid. I want to see him play safe. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
That would be
but I
so
think
fun.
that's a set that we all kind of need.
And then going on a safe.
Really quickly, I just want to mention GCS came to a NorCal local recently, and he beat YCZ,
Oh, did he?
who is a PR at Samus here.
Yeah,
So,
someone can beat Samus. That's
He's
amazing.
pretty good.
How else did he do? I heard he was there. I didn't get to see how the tournament went though. Did he get any other wins or anything interesting?
I think then I don't remember how the rest of it went, but I think he got 4th at that local.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But he was seated 7th, so
It's good.
he was putting work. He was doing a good job of representing the state and
Cool.
teaching NorCal TOs not to treat us lightly, if nothing else.
Yeah, that's a good thing. He's someone who I haven't seen him go out of state too much. I guess he's going to SmashCon apparently.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm curious.
I'm
to see how that
excited because
goes.
he always does either hit or miss at those Florida tournaments when he's visiting his family. I want to see him in a non-Florida or non-North Carolina tournament, so I'm excited about SmashCon.
Yeah. Safe at 3. Again, we kind of talked about that, but Safe has been very consistently good. I think he's the best Fox right now. He's shown dominance in the Ditto this season, and he took 2 sets off you, Tyler, or was it 1?
Safe took 1 set at Peyton. I don't know if he got another. I think because we hadn't played since Moses King 2 at that point. So he's
that's right.
No, I think we have played one other time, but we rarely play. It's pretty rare.
Yeah. I hope he goes out some more things too. I mean, he goes to Geeks all the time, and he's usually the 1 seed, and most of the time the 2 seed is not a PR player.
Yeah.
So it's not even there's kind of a realistic chance that he doesn't win the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Hope he goes to more stuff.
Hope he can make it to a PMG or 2.
Yeah, that'd be great. Safe's really fun to play.
Yeah, I agree. He's fast.
So he's very fast. Yeah, very fast, very technical. Makes really good decisions. So we'll see if he can defend that 3 spot. It's apparently cursed because
we'll see how that goes.
Not including this season, but the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's back when PPMD was on there. The last 5 seasons, the 3 spot has changed every time.
That's crazy. And the 3 spot kind of dipped every time, right? A pretty significant to an extent dip.
Yeah,
I know for sure David and Tunnel this season. I think Zasa did it a little bit last season too, if I remember.
Yeah, a little bit. And then Stingers.
Quit.
Stingers quit.
So I guess on to me then. I'll make mine real brief. This season has been weird because I haven't gone to a weekday local, I think, since August or September. I'm very ready for PMG because I feel like I've lost a little bit of clutch factor that I had back in summer of 2017. I need to get that back. I need to get playing like I was. So I'm excited for that. I had a lot of close sets. I don't want to be close anymore. I want to just destroy people every time. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much all I had to say about that. It was fun matches, but I don't ever want them to be close. I just want to destroy everybody, and I've got to find a way to beat Mike because he got a lot better at the matchup somehow.
Yeah. Mike seems really good at, like, if he's not good at something, figuring out how to be good at it.
Yeah, he improved within like 2 weeks of the IC matchup. Against me specifically, because he's always been pretty good at it, but like he whooped Diz, but me and him would usually have close sets. The last 2 or 3 have been it's been bad, and I honestly need to study it and figure out what to do. But I also think that I need to practice against Falcon because I also lost a GCS twice. I think it's also a
Right.
Falcon thing too. So I've just got a lot of practicing to do. I'll need to go to events to sharpen everything, but that's pretty much it for me. And then for Mike, I don't think there's much to say. He's Mike. He wins. He hasn't
Well,
lost.
the one thing to note about this, which I was surprised was not really brought up in the Facebook thread, is that Mike was not technically considered active this season. He did not meet the activity requirements.
Oh, yeah.
But we did decide that he could go out to a tournament and just win it and be active, so it wasn't really worth like proving that point or sticking
Correct.
with that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I would not want to get number 1 like that. That would be kind of lame to me. I'd rather get number 1 by beating Mike. So I'm glad he
Right.
did that. To be
Yeah, and
honest.
we know he's the best active player right now.
Obviously.
He didn't drop a set to anybody. And I think the PR looks a lot better to out of state if we have a top 100 player on it.
Yes.
I
Correct.
think that, like, for image reasons, to legitimize NC as a scene, I think it is very important to have Mike on there every season. So if there's anyone that can kind of get away with not necessarily meeting the activity requirements, I think it would be him, just because it benefits all of us when we go out of state. Because you compare that to, like, you know, some flyover state and they don't have a top 100 player on their PR, then it just looks like you don't have
Ugly.
any
It's
people
ugly.
seriously. But at least if we have Mike, and then you as kind of like a fringe top 100 player, and then Kaon, who is a top 100 player, I mean, that
Heck yeah.
even though that's just you guys, that makes the rest of us look better by association.
Oh, sure. I mean, anything to build the state up. That's the big goal, right? I just want us to be good. I really want us to
Oh,
go
yeah.
out and just take names all the time. I love this state, so I hope that, we can get there someday.
Maybe this summer. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see for SmashCon. I'm sure we'll have a segment on SmashCon before it comes up, so we'll talk
Oh,
about it in
yeah.
a future episode. But any other words?
I do want to say it's really exciting that Mike's going to be traveling again soon because I don't know. His 2017 kind of went under the radar because he had really close sets with like Drug Fox, Duck, Lucky, Withrow.
none.
Like all sets where if one thing went his way, he would have, made a really huge upset.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Hopefully he's been working on Melee and we'll start to see some of those turn into real upsets. I think that'd be really exciting. I think everyone in North Carolina would be really excited to see Mike take one of those big names finally.
Oh yeah, we all love Mike, so I hope. Yeah, we all want to see that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think it's looking good too for not having a season like this past one, just in terms of having more tournaments and better activity and stuff.
Agreed.
I'm hoping.
I think it'll
'cause-
be fine.
It's painful making these lists sometimes when it's just like all the data doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So go out there and win sets, please, everybody.
Okay. Well, we'll get on to the next segment then.
Welcome to the game show segment. So in this segment, Graham and Tyler will be competing against each other in some game of my devising. We're going to keep track of how well they do across all the episodes, and maybe there will be some prize for whoever wins Lifetime. So today's game, two of my favorite things are estimating and just really random trivia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you numbers that are just really random related to Smash, and you have to guess what the actual value is. And whoever comes closer will get a point for each number.
Whoa.
So just to be clear, so whoever's closer additively, that means I'm just going to take the absolute value of the difference between your answer and the right answer, and you want that number to be lower. And I'm also going to do my best to cite like exact statistics, because there might be different sources that say different things. I assume you guys aren't going to be super pedantic and like call me in 2 weeks and tell me I was wrong.
No.
I might do that.
Yeah. No. I'm good.
That was drifted, Graham. You're totally fine, Tyler.
Only if I lose.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
No,
cool.
all
Fair
scores
enough.
are final. Even if these statistics are wrong in the real world, they're right in my world, and that's all that matters.
I'm a little worried about this, to be honest. I have no idea what this is gonna be like, but I'm pretty pumped about it. So
I like this.
yeah,
You guys are ready to go? Let's start.
let's do it.
Okay, first I want you to tell me how many frames long Ganondorf's up tilt is from start to
Oh my
finish.
Gosh. Okay, so I just threw out so we had to answer this in a certain amount, like a real quick, or can we think about this for a second?
You can take as much time as you like.
Okay.
Obviously don't go look it up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay, so
I submitted my answer.
I did too, but I might want to change it. So like maybe we have like a countdown timer kind of. I don't know. I'll keep mine. I just threw it the first thing that came to my head. But thinking about this, it's like how many seconds is it, right? And obviously 60 frames a second. And I could think it lasts like what, 3-4 seconds. I don't know.
Okay, Tyler, why don't you tell me your answer?
I definitely went way too high. I just threw something out at the very beginning, and I don't like my answer anymore, but I'll stick with it. I did 364, which thinking about that now was a lot of seconds. That's going to be a little bit too high.
Way too high.
Yeah, that's way too high. But hey, now I wasn't ready for this. Is my warm up. This is okay. This is like my game. This is like my game 1 versus Flamin' Roy, where he just bought me. I'll come back stronger the next round. It's fine.
Oh boy, I said 145.
Okay, the correct answer is 114, and fun fact,
Goodness.
it's interruptible as soon as frame 113.
Ooh,
So if you want to do a frame perfect interruptible as soon as follow up, now you know.
Interesting.
yeah, that's big. That's big if true. For
So
sure.
it's not even 2 seconds long. Wow, that's a lot shorter than I thought it was. Huh. Okay. Interesting.
Alrighty, next up, when I checked last night at 11 p.m. Pacific time, how many views did the most viewed version of Wombo Combo have on YouTube?
Oh my gosh.
Funnily enough,
I
I think
feel
the
like I
guy-
saw this recently. I swear.
So the guy who uploaded it actually, I think, copied the video off of Brandon's channel and
Really?
gave a ping back to the original video, but the original video has barely any views.
Interesting. The one on the
So-
waffle doesn't?
The waffle video of the full set, it still has a decent number, but it's nothing
okay.
compared to what the rip has.
Okay, so he doesn't have just that. The only clip of it is just that one. Okay, that makes sense. Do you have your answer submitted,
Yes,
Graham?
I'm ready to hear
Yes,
some
I
answers.
do.
Okay, so I was thinking I was gonna put 1.45, but I swear I feel like I saw it past 2 million recently, but I could just be going crazy. I put 2.1 million.
I put 25.
25 million?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how.
Maybe I'm
many-
Just-
way off.
Only 25 people have ever actually watched this video.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So the actual answer, this one was surprisingly close. It was almost smack dab in the middle. It's 14 million and some
What?
number.
Ooh.
I thought it
So
was-
Graham is Tyler. You were 12 million off, and Graham was 11 million off.
dang, I thought it was a
Let's
lot
go.
less than that.
Let's go.
That's cool though. I'm happy I'm that wrong.
Because I figured that's one of those
dang.
videos that's been linked to non-Smash.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm probably thinking of the
Um,
Shiz set in terms of numbers, but I'll have to look that
Mhm.
up later.
That would make a lot of sense. Okay, next up, according to I Need Data's calculator,
Mm.
if Pikachu fully charges up smash and hits Pichu on Yoshi's story, and the only thing Pichu is doing to affect this is DIing completely out, what percent does Pichu die?
This is great.
Is this on the base of the stage?
This is the center of this, the center bottom main platform.
Okay.
You've used I Need Data, right? You know the default position your character starts out in?
Yes.
I feel so dumb answering all of these questions.
Wait, do you mean before the up smash hits or including the up smash
Oh.
damage?
Actually, I believe it is before the up smash hits.
Yeah, because the way I Need Data does it. Would
Oh,
be, so
You'd like to
you
change
don't-
your answer. Yeah, the way
Yeah.
I Need Data does it is, yeah, you're right. It is
Before the
the
hit,
damage
okay.
you put in is before the up smash hits.
Okay.
Do you want to change your answer based on that, or
I'm sticking with mine.
no, I'll stick with mine.
okay? Let me hear some answers then.
I have
32%.
I have 34%. At least I know I'm close to you this
Ooh.
time. I was thinking because I remember you talking about the up smash on Puff for ice climbers and how it was like
Yeah.
around 45, 46% on most stage or something like that.
Mhm.
Fully charged Popo, and I was like, it's got to be like what, around 10% less than that or so. So I kind of rounded around that 34%.
So the actual value is 28%.
Oh my
Graham
gosh!
barely nudges it out.
Ooh,
Also, Pichu sucks.
yeah, Pichu's bad. And Pikachu up smash is really good.
Yeah.
It is really good, and I think at low percent it is the strongest. I know Fox's grows slightly faster in knockback, but
Of
you know,
course
at
it
around
does.
like 30% it doesn't really matter. All right, next up. So famed net player Andrew AJT uploaded a video to YouTube where he wobbles a CPU Bowser to 999%. How many seconds from the moment he gets the grab does it take to get to 999%? Tyler, this one's for you. This one should swing it back in your favor.
I don't think it will, to be honest. I'm trying to think.
See, I feel like right now Graham's like doing the math. He's like, okay, I'm gonna
I'm
like
literally
clap.
I'm literally wobbling watching a clock. But I don't have a
feel-
clock. Well, I'm trying to, but I don't have a clock here.
Sorry, can you restate the question?
Yeah, so basically there's a video of an Ices wobbling a Bowser CPU from 0 to 999%.
Okay.
It is by Andrew AJT, because there are probably multiple videos like this out there. I want you to tell me how many seconds from the moment he gets the grab to the moment that the CPU is at 999%.
Hold on. I want to do it like that. Let me
How
think.
many-
Okay.
How many seconds?
How many seconds? Let's see. Oh, this is so hard. I'm trying to do the math here. Because if it's
I think
200,
I think I did the math right. I think.
I feel like I'm under such pressure here.
You've never wobbled a Bowser to 999?
Never. I never, well, maybe wobbled one person to 99. Okay, so it's like that, and then
I mean, to be fair, knowing like how much percent per minute. or whatever
like
wobbling
I'm
goes
so
is-
yeah, because if it's gonna be like 100,
You don't really need to know that to be an
minutes.
Ices game. You just need to like press it until you get to 300 and then hit a button.
So I guess it would be this. Throw it at
No,
you.
tell me, Graham's just sitting here waiting. So
Sorry,
don't
I
tell
got
me
it.
what
I
you-
threw it out.
No,
I
it's
threw
fine,
out.
it's fine.
This is bad math because I'm like under pressure now. 95 seconds.
I said 105.
It is 106.
Are you kidding me? Holy
Very
cow!
Ooh, I'm a legend.
Because, well, the fun part is it depends on if you're doing D tilt or F tilt. That changes the percent because D tilt only does 2%, F tilt does 3, I believe.
I would assume it's F tilt.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
That is true. Okay, that is my fault then.
No. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I was doing it based off of F tilt anyway. I was trying to at least. But yeah, that's interesting.
It was
100, that's
actually
a lot of time.
fair wobble.
Yeah,
Oh, that-
yeah.
that would've just been
Fair
ridiculous
wobble.
on my part,
The
so-
blizzobble. I'm getting swept, by the way. I've got to get this here. I gotta get this. I will redeem myself.
Okay, so Air 5 sort of made Smash news because it's being held in August in England. They opened up registration a few weeks ago, and registration capped within 24 hours. So they had to increase the registration cap. So I want to know how many people are currently signed up for Melee singles at Air 5.
Man, how many people are even allowed to be in it? I feel like I want to put a lower number because I don't remember airs being ever that big. And I remember people complaining about how, like, there wasn't enough time. So I feel like it can't be that much, right? So I'm going to kind of throw a smaller number that... I don't know about this. I'm just going to throw something a little bit smaller than normal. I've got mine in. How about you, Graham?
Yeah, I got mine in. I
Throw yours out first.
said 512.
I said 725.
So 512 was the original cap, and then
That's
they
what I
raised
figured.
it, and it's now at 755.
Ah,
So
hey, I
Tyler,
got
you will be
one.
on the board.
Let's go. That's what counts, right? Not getting four stocked.
Well, if these were stocks, Graham would have already four-stocked you.
Well,
But anyway,
we don't talk about it. Doesn't matter.
These are
moving on.
these are just neutral wins.
That's right. That's neutral wins. It only takes like Icy's like one, so we're tied at this
right.
point.
Yeah, this
basically.
is basically an even game.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, another YouTube video question. There's a YouTube video called How Fast is Armada?
Hmm.
So they count the number of inputs Armada makes when he plays Game 2 versus PPMD at EVO 2015. So I want to know how many inputs per minute does Armada make in this video?
Did he play Fox or Peach?
I guess I can tell you, he played Fox versus Falco on Stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be much less interesting if it were Peach.
So we're answering APM.
I know
APM.
nothing about APM at all. I know very little about APM. So this is truly something. This could be an absurd number. I have no idea. I'm just throwing it out there. What do you
Alrighty,
think?
Let me hear the answers. Graham, you go first.
167.
Oh gosh, mine looks so dumb now. Mine's 240. I have
Yours
no
isn't
idea how fast or not that is.
Yours isn't that dumb. It's actually 250.
Yes, let's
Jeez.
go.
Because I can't think of what counts as like an action.
It depends on if they
So-
count the control stick or
the
not.
Stick, right?
Yeah, so it's weird. So I think in the video, basically any individual input on any part of the controller counts as one. So something like shine out a shield probably counts as like 7 inputs.
Oh
Gosh.
geez, yeah. Because
Yeah, that makes sense.
jump down B.
And then jump again, and then down,
Oh,
or
like
dodge.
wave shine out of shield. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, next up. So to the nearest centisecond, which is 100th of a second, using in-game time, according to speedrun.com, what is the world record for Game & Watch's target test? And do include the centisecond value, because that might actually matter a lot.
Oh my! I have literally no idea.
Could have just said hundredths of a second.
Well, I like the word centisecond. It's very cute. Okay, so
I definitely did one extra.
you did. So that's,
Yeah, that's my bad.
pretending you did it.
I
so
literally
what's your answer,
I did an
Tyler?
extra. 5.33.
3.95.
So the actual answer is 2.87.
Let's go.
I don't even know what his looks like. I have no idea.
This is the one where it's like in the flat zone stage, sort of, and the targets are moving around like. But they're not
Yeah,
moving
they
continuously, they
zoom
just
around
jump from spot to
Super
spot.
crazy, yeah.
Also, a fun fact I think like an hour
Oh,
before we
yeah,
started
okay.
recording this, Joe Save State posted a link completing that target test in 2 seconds. It's kind of cool.
Dang.
Wow. It's crazy that you can like hack the game essentially and create new speedrun categories.
It's neat. That's a cool thing. They're like only like 5 people are gonna do that. I feel like.
Yeah,
I think it
but-
used to be a really big thing, but yeah, recently it's died down because a lot of the Melee community just cares about cares about tournaments now,
Yeah.
and more or less nothing else.
Except typo.
No, you're right. They care about singles. They don't care about doubles.
Oh, I was going to say single player, and I was like, oh, that's wrong.
Yeah. No, not right.
Okay, next up, according to esportsearnings.com,
Ooh.
to the nearest dollar, how much prize money has Armada won lifetime? This is across all games, if that matters.
Hmm.
To the dollar, you said?
To
This
the
is
nearest
this is
dollar.
US dollars.
I have man.
It is US dollars.
US dollars before taxes.
This is like Wits and Wagers, I swear. It makes you feel so dumb because it's like I just gotta throw out a random number here. Huh.
Yeah, if we were counting tax, the fact that Armada's from Sweden would kind
Yeah,
of skew
that
this
would
very heavily.
destroy everything.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Graham, let me hear yours.
135,000.
Yeah, yeah, I've doubled that. I have 289,453.
I like that you went to the trouble of like specifying things
Oh,
past
yeah.
$1,000.
No, that's fine. I'm going all the way with this.
I mean, so it worked out because it was actually 290,000.
Oh man,
really close.
I was close. I was $550 off.
Do you know how much of that was PM?
Probably
I feel like
not
a very
much.
tiny amount. So
It would have to be a couple thousand.
It's blown up a lot in the past few years. I think like the last 4 years makes up more than 90% of this, in part because Summit.
As I say,
Evo.
he's got 4 Summit
Oh,
wins.
yeah,
4
Summit.
Summit wins.
Forgot Summit is like a ton of money. That'll do it.
Alrighty, next up. According to SSB Wiki, how much percent does Peach's down smash do if all hits connect uncharged? And just to be
I've
clear, I
seen
mean,
this.
if you go, I got this from going to the down smash general page and scrolling down to Peaches and looking at the number.
I swear I've seen this number before. I remember talking about this one time, but we'll see at least.
I'm trying to think to my own traumatic experiences.
Does the only time that can happen to Puff is if you jump into it, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's times when I'm holding down because I'm an idiot.
So the
but-
worst part about Ices, right, is that when they get the grab, they want to hold down to down throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peach spot dodge against that, you're going to die. It is very bad. And then Nana DIs randomly, and so you have
Right.
no idea where she's going.
That's always fun. All right, Graham, let me hear your answer.
65%.
Said 79, and I'm certain I have definitely seen it go into the 70s before, but I think it might be a little bit lower than 79.
So I kind of disagree with this, but Smash Wiki says it's 70%.
Really? I swear I've seen it more than that.
Because
thought
I think
had
it
at least.
like, if every hit connects, it would stale one time for the first hit, but not for the rest.
I'm gonna have
and
to
did
test
it-
this out.
Yeah, do different hits do different amounts? Or I thought they were all the same.
Well, I agree with you. I think it is actually like 66 or 67-ish.
Really? I thought I
because
saw it
it's
at
14.
70.
Because there is
it's-
scaling.
It's 14 per hit, and it's 5 hits.
Hmm.
Well, it's also do multiple hits of the same move stale it?
Well, the first hit stales, and then
Oh,
the rest
okay.
of them don't.
That's good to
Oh,
know.
that's interesting.
So, like, the first one would be 14, and then the subsequent ones would all be the same. I would guess 12, but
Oh, wow. Okay. How many hits are there?
Okay.
In that moment, I am euphoric.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, sorry. I had to throw
was
that
a
one out. I had to throw that one out
reference.
there. Sorry, that was 2014. Okay, any others?
Okay, this is my personal favorites.
oh boy.
So the Melee matchup chart on Smash Wiki was last updated in December 2010. Given that information, according to this matchup chart, how many winning matchups does Yoshi have?
The last matchup chart was in 2010?
Yes. Some silence here.
I'm thinking. I'm going to throw something random out there again.
This is
I-
strictly.
I
strictly
got a little
winning.
scared. I thought I disconnected for.
No.
Okay. Here's the answer.
Wait, whoa. That's wrong. I'm sorry. I was thinking completely incorrect when I put that. Sorry. Hold on.
It's
Okay,
strict-
that
No,
was
yeah, that was
a
wrong.
very,
That
very
I
bold answer.
no. That was not
It-
correct. Hold on
it-
one
it's
second.
strictly winning matchups, correct?
Yes. Ties
Okay.
do not count towards this number.
Okay.
I like to
We'll do
imagine like
this.
Tyler sitting at his
We'll do
computer with
this.
a little notepad and a pencil.
Yeah,
and
no, definitely. It's me just thinking and being like, yes, it's gonna be bad.
Okay, so let's hear some answers. Graham, you first.
7.
Whoa, I have 13.
Oh, you guys are gonna hate this. The answer is 1.
Let's go.
What?
Is it Bowser?
It is Bowser.
That's hype.
He does not beat Zelda.
No, it has
He doesn't beat
him-
Kirby. He doesn't beat
Toad-
Kirby.
No, because Kirby can gimp him.
Or no, sorry, I was wrong. Kirby is the one winning matchup.
Oh.
Bowser is even.
Oh boy.
Lord.
And yeah, Zelda beats him. Link has a strong advantage.
I thought they were smarter than this in 2010. I obviously underestimated.
Well, because
that.
Zelda Toe would break double jump armor, right?
Oh gosh, that's the
Honestly,
kind of
they
logic
did-
they would use. Oh.
Oh yeah, the only
Wait,
characters
what?
who had fewer winning matchups were Pichu and Bowser. Even Kirby has 2 winning matchups according to this chart.
Is it Falcon and Bowser?
It's Bowser and Roy, which is
Oh.
weird. But
Interesting.
alrighty, next up, I want to know what is the largest number of spots that any character has moved between 2 consecutive versions of the Melee tier list. And because there were a
Oh.
few tier lists where there were ties, if there were multiple characters who tied for 5th, so if there's characters who are like 5th, 6th, and 7th on a list, I'm counting them all as 5th place for that list.
But why would you have ties on a tier list?
This happened a few times.
I'm just
How
throwing
do you
something
know-
out. I'm not even trying
Alright.
to think about this one. I'm just throwing the number out there.
Speaking of that, I think we actually kind of are overdue for a new tier list. It's been 2.5 years since the last one.
Do you count the European one?
No,
Well, Pal's
that's
different.
Pal. Yeah, we need a new NTSC tier
We need
list,
one where Falcon is not below Ices.
and where Yoshi is not
Yeah.
below Doc.
Yeah. I guess now, according to all the Twitter tier lists, that Luigi's better than Icy's now. Didn't you see by like half of the
And
Reddit
Puff
arms?
Puff is number 2.
Yeah, that's true. I think that is true.
Alright, let's hear some answers. Grant, what you got?
I said 9.
I said 6.
Well, this was close. The actual answer is 8.
Yes.
Zelda went from 6th tied for 6th on the first tier list to tied for 14th on the second tier list.
I was thinking it might have to do with her because I was like, I figured they had her pretty high at the beginning, or Link, one of those two.
I think Link was also like top 8 at the beginning.
Yeah.
2001 was a
Up,
weird
up,
time.
up B, dude. How do you beat that in 2001? There's no way that should have shield. What do you do?
I think also early on they said like, well, Zelda, one of the things you can do is just transform into Sheik, and Sheik's the best character. So
Oh,
That is true.
terrible.
She has a move that makes her number 1 on the tier list,
An awful, awful.
kind of like Fox does right now. Which move is it though? That's the real question.
Up tilt. Prove me wrong.
alrighty, next up, there's a famous game where Axe beats Silent Wolf in under a minute on Fountain of Dreams.
Oh, I've never heard of
I
that.
want to know how much damage Silent Wolf takes during that whole game.
Oh, wow.
Wait, and Silent Wolf got 4-stock that game.
He got 4 stocked
What?
in
He got
under a
4
minute.
stocked under a minute?
And it's how much
on
damage
Fountain of Dreams.
Silent Wolf took total.
Yes, in
Okay.
this one game.
Yes. Okay.
This is a pretty famous game. I don't think there's any other times this has happened. So
I don't know. Doesn't ring a bell, really. Oh man, this is weird. So many gimps. I'm trying to remember if there was a long stock, but since it was under a minute, I actually watched it again recently because I'm a filthy memer. Not really though. I don't remember there ever being a very
Ooh, I
long
want to change my answer.
stock.
I feel like this whole game show is very interesting because there's kind of a meta. You can like psych your opponent into.
Oh no, I was
Answer.
totally trying to. Yeah, totally.
I'm
Okay.
completely in Tyler's head right now. I don't
Oh.
understand.
All right, Graham, what do you think?
99%.
84%.
Okay, it's actually so there is a long stock. The first one takes a decent amount of time. And he actually dies at like 80, I
No
think.
way! Oh,
The entire game he takes up to 185%.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
a
let's
lot more than I
go.
thought.
Yeah, that's higher than I
Because the
thought.
rest were like 30% stocks, right?
yeah.
we'll
but,
take it.
So I think what might have helped is remembering that like towards the end, the commentators got really excited about this could be an under 1 minute game.
Uh-huh.
So it was under a minute, but it was just very barely there.
But the last 2 stocks were fast.
Yeah, yeah, they were brutal.
fast. Not that I remember that set or anything.
All right,
Man, I
Tyler,
am getting
you
destroyed.
mentioned you're a filthy memer.
Yeah, not
This
really.
one should be right up your alley then.
Uh-oh, I hate
How
memes.
many seconds long is the version of Respect Your Elders on Chillin' Dude's channel?
I have watched that. I have actually watched that once, and it was when it came out. I have
Oh,
not
boy.
watched that since 2014.
So you've seen the like fake documentary about it, right?
No.
Oh, it's pretty good. Like, it's not gonna make you burst out of your seat laughing, but it's a good if you just want some like background noise. It's kind of funny. For 30
Okay, I had to
minutes.
check that out. Oh my gosh, 30 minutes? Holy cow.
It's a 30-minute. It's Last Talk Legends, but it's
Oh,
about-
okay.
it's about respect your elders instead of anything actually important to Melee history.
Okay, threw my answer out there.
All right, what do we got?
I said
Oh, keep going.
2 minutes 54 seconds.
2 minutes and 1 second.
This one's weird. It's 101 seconds, so 1 minute 40 seconds.
Okay.
Oh.
Really
Hey,
short
take
compared to
it.
like what you think it is.
Yeah, I figured it'd be
Because there's
short.
2 verses, right?
Yeah, there's
And
not
then
really
and
like
then there's the PS.
yeah, there's not really any part of it where he's not rapping. There's like
Okay.
a 2-second pause, and that's about it.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And there are no features as well. Right? I actually haven't seen it.
Oh
You've
my
never
god, you're
seen
so
it?
new.
No.
I only watched it once. That's right, because you came in after that tournament. That is crazy.
No, I came in after the tournament, and then Graham came in
What?
like a year after me.
Oh man,
Apex was the
that's
first tournament I watched
nuts.
mildly live.
Wait, Apex what? 14?
2015 was
20
the first tournament I watched.
Wait, was
like,
that 15?
Yeah, 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty, next up, Mott Bob is famous for making compilations,
Yes.
one of which is called Every Hungry Box Rest.
Yes.
It's 3 hours, 15 minutes long. I want to know how many rests are in the video.
3 hours and 15 minutes.
Graham, I feel like should have watched this because this is the
You said
This is
3
the-
hours and 15 minutes?
it's 3 hours and 15 minutes of clips of Hungry Box resting people. Not like rest. It includes the build up because
Yeah.
part of the point is if you're like a Puff main, you can
To
watch
see the
this and figure out
setup.
what common rest setups are. Yeah. Or if you're a Fox main, you can figure out how not to get rested.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm doing this math right. You said it's 3 hours and 15 minutes.
It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. And probably like some change in seconds, but I don't think this question is going to be decided by like a difference
No.
of 2 or 3.
No.
Alrighty, Graham, you're up first.
2,340.
1769.
Graham's answer is very like I feel like I could derive his math if I really wanted to.
Yeah, you probably
It is 2,348.
could.
You were off by less than 10.
Oh my gosh! Holy cow! So what did you assume each clip how long it was going to be?
I said a rest every 5 seconds.
Okay, I thought 5 seconds, and then I went more than that, and then I kind of went even lower just in case. That's crazy. 2,000 some. Phew. How long do you think it took to make that video?
Way too long.
Too long.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
I mean, maybe in the future we'll have some like way to parse videos by just listening for that rest sound and the little like explosion noise.
That's
And then
funny. Just clip it.
you can just have something auto clip it, but no, not in current year.
No.
All right, and last up, across all GR Smash videos, whose titles start with top X, where X is a number, what is the largest value of X?
Wow. I'm ashamed to admit that I
Mhm.
watch your Smash videos when they come out. Actually,
I feel like that's not
really-
shameful. They're like
I
they're
do
kind
too.
of
I do too if they're
I like them.
they're
I
pretty
think
amusing.
I think they are too. And I'm trying to think of that. I'm gonna go with.
Some of them are,
Okay.
Some of them are kind of painful. Like there's the worst 2v ones. You just see people throw away really free
Oh,
teams
man.
wins.
I
Those
think I
are
know the
rough.
answer to this, but I just want to check on this, Rune.
No. So
Okay, that's
I will
fine.
read the question out to you.
Yeah,
again.
that's right, though. I want to make sure. That's fine. I'm gonna go with this.
Okay. Graham.
32.
25.
Funnily enough, Tyler, guessing 100 for the video
Ah!
might have been close. It was 65 for top 65 fastest stocks.
What?
Oh.
What the heck video was that?
Top
What about
65
Well, thank
fastest
you.
stocks.
Thank you. Hold on. I'm looking this up right now. I have never heard of this. Top 65. It's the second freaking, if I put top 65 as the second, this is a year old.
I mean, people don't usually make top 65s in like anything.
Goodness, I guess that's true.
So yeah, there was a 100 combos for the top melee top or the MIOM top 100, but I wasn't counting that because it doesn't start with like top X combos.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I had to ask you though, just to make sure in case you were
Oh,
trying
that's totally fair.
to stick, like, whatever. Okay, well, I got destroyed. That was a
Yeah,
lot of
so-
fun though.
This was no spoilers, but Graham won 11-4.
Oh
Let's go.
gosh.
Let's
So
go.
Graham is up 1-0 right now in the lifetime count, but
But
you
that's-
have hopefully many more episodes.
The nice
to
part
bring
is,
that
like, it
back.
doesn't matter how bad you lose in the first game. There's always the next game, and it can be tied even if you beat them by, like, 1. So,
Right.
so I'll be back. I'll be back stronger. Maybe I won't get force-stucked again. We'll see.
All right, so that concludes our content for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm Arun. You can, if you want to follow me about things that aren't Smash, you can find me at Guru Ganesh on Twitter.
And I'm Graham. I don't have a Twitter, but I do have a blog that I'm thinking about updating more often. I don't know. hi-fi-ssbm.wordpress.com. There's 2 articles on there already, so go check those out.
And again, I'm Sharks. You can find me on Twitter at sharks_SSB. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/sharks_SSB, where I will be streaming bi-weekly the PMG tournaments. So look forward to that. I should have a new stream layout pretty soon. Thanks to Joe being awesome. And about the podcast, we're working on setting everything up. So hopefully in the future you can, and by the time the episode's out, you can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube, and we should have a direct link to the MP3 also in the post. And in the future, I'm going to see if we can try to get on Apple Podcast. I'll do my best I can on that. And if you have any requests about any mediums to upload that's easiest for y'all, let me know. I don't think like Stitch or anything like that's really live anymore. But if you have any requests, let me know. We'll do what we can. Again, thank y'all so much for listening. That was a lot of fun. If you have any recommendations for the podcast, hit us up. Let us know. Anything too long, too short, any suggestions. But thanks again, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week.
All right, see ya.